Well, I hope you can hear me and I hope you can see me. And I think my picture is very clear today. It's great to be able to talk to y'all. Uh, it's it's uh, it's a good day in Atlanta, but it's raining. I know it's a good day in New York, and no, baseball season is pretty soon. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm having so much fun doing this. And when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do, I start thinking about what am I going to say. And the problem is what I want to say and what I say, I don't say what I want to say. Does that make sense? It probably doesn't. I'm going to be introducing a very, very good friend of mine today. And it's a topic that's been out for the last I guess for the last few months, or maybe over a year. There's been a lot of problems throughout baseball with abuse, and also people going into slumps, people having bad attitudes. So my very, very good friend Miles Runstall is a very, very good friend of mine. He lives in Boca Raton. And he told me that, and I was getting very, very large. I had a great following. I got a great following now. And he said, I would like to sponsor your show. And I've never done this before. And he said, only thing I need to do is to have him on. What he does, it's great for the game of athletics. It's great for anything. I wish I would have had this when I would have played. And, we never had a psychologist. And I never even knew what a psychologist was. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a psychology major. But of course, that didn't work out. And I finally met one, and he became my good friend. And finding out Bobby Cox, I think the Atlanta Braves had the first a psychologist on the staff quite a few years ago. When I was talking to Mark Wohlers, they had him on the in the 1990s, it's 2000. They had a psychologist on, and I asked Bobby, I asked Mark, I asked Tommy Glavine, what did he think? And it really got great reviews. Hello, Miles. How you doing, big guy?
Good, Boomer. How you doing today?
Good. I'm just talking about Bobby Cox and the time that they had the first psychologist, I think, in the game of baseball. Okay. And, we never had that. The only thing, when we went into slumps, when we made errors, or when pitchers giving up a lot of home runs, when they're walking, a lot of batters, and it wasn't going real well, who do you go to? You go, after the ball game, you go back to your room, you start thinking, you go to sleep, you start thinking, you start thinking of you striking out, you go 0 for 4, 0 for 8, 0 for 10. You start thinking about that. And you really don't have anybody to talk to. But what the Braves did, and what they did was, it was incredible, because they had the 4 great pitchers. They had a Tommy Glavine, they had a Steve Avery, they had Greg Maddux, and they had let me see, who else did they have? John Smoltz, of course. Right. They had Johnny, and those guys were going to slumps, and they needed help, so they had somebody. So right. When I met Miles, probably about 15 years ago, he had he had an event, mostly Mets. Mostly the Mets are down there. I think I was only Yankee, I believe, but we became very, very good friends. And his family are just wonderful. His wife and his son, who just got a baseball scholarship to a Division III school up in
Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah, and he's so excited about it. And but anyway, I met Miles, and we spoke, and we decided to do this, and it's excellent. And I think y'all are going to be it's very interesting. about today's playing baseball, the young kids that are growing up, that are being pressured with their parents. They got to do this, they got to do that. And then they go back home. They love baseball, they love football, basketball, or whatever, hockey. And then it's just too much pressure. Who do you talk to?
Do you struggle with butterflies before a big game or sporting event? Have you ever worried about choking under pressure or felt the jitters when it's your turn to shine? Do you have concerns about making mistakes or embarrassing yourself in front of an audience? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you might be suffering from what is called sports-related performance anxiety, a condition defined as diminished athletic performances resulting from too much perceived stress. Hi, I'm Dr. Miles Runsdorf, sports psychologist, and one of the things I specialize in is helping athletes to cope with and overcome their performance-related anxieties. Using a combination of behavioral and cognitive strategies, I help the athlete develop the mental approach necessary to compete at optimal competitive levels. For further information, you can reach me at 561-245-1478. That's 561-245-1478. Or you can visit my website at mespsych.com. That's MESPSYCH.com. This is Dr. Miles reminding you to play hard, take chances, give everything, and have no regrets.
Oh, can't hear you.
He needs to unmute himself.
Okay.
How did you like that, Miles?
Sounds like a professional did it. That was pretty good.
Lenny, we have a professional. Lenny, thank you very much. Miles, it is wonderful to be able to talk to a great friend, a guy that I've known for many, many years, that is in a profession that is a necessity in the game of athletics now.
Oh, yeah.
And the game of life.
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciate you coming on today.
I appreciate you.
Fans, I want you to listen to this because, I mean, he's going to be with me for quite a while. I think you're going to learn an awful lot, and hopefully you'll be able to talk to him one day or maybe meet him. And Miles, it's great to have you here, big guy. And I wanted to know, first thing, I just want to know, his son had a game last night. How did they do last night? Tell me, Miles.
We first off, thanks for having me on again. It's always great to talk with you, Ron. Last night's game was, you know what, we're a good team, good pitching, good pitching, good fielding. Our hitting has been kind of questionable so far in the short season. We managed to have a great game last night. Definitely a much less skilled team. I think it was more JV varsity than varsity. My son, it was senior night, so he split duties with the other senior catcher last night. Nothing eventful happened behind the plate last night. I did catch a nice, really high pop foul ball, but he got a triple that put the game out of reach at the end of the game. And you know, it's great. It's a little bittersweet because this is our last time. I've been doing this with him since he's 4. He's 18, and we've been doing baseball, like I said, since he's 4 years old, out in the backyard, in the street, and then on the fields and stuff. So it's kind of, you know, this part of it's coming to an end now. You know, he's going, like he said, he's going to college next year. He's going to playing baseball, getting a great education at Ursinus. Really, and to me, I mean, being someone who's overly educated, you know, academics are very, very important to me, as they should be, I think, for most people. You need a great academic foundation for success. But in terms of my son, I couldn't be more proud of the work that he puts in, the mental toughness he exhibits. You know, as an athlete, as a senior who's undersized, you know, he gets overlooked a lot. So he's got to be tough, and he's got this little chip on his shoulder where he wants to prove people wrong, which is a great mentality to have. I mean, he doesn't get down on himself when he doesn't do well. He just kind of wants to keep getting better. I still video his at bats and his catching, and he always wants to learn and get better. So, like I said, as a father, I couldn't be more proud of the time he's put in, the effort he gives, and you know, the sacrifices he makes. You know, his friends go out and hang out and do stuff, and he'll go out hitting at night at 9 o'clock at night. So, you know, it's something he just wants. Like, I wish his academic performance in school was, he put in the time like that there too. But you know what? You can't win every single battle. I'm just very proud of him no matter what, though.
Well, you should, Miles. I remember when he was just a little boy.
Yeah.
And now look at him. And that's what you call success. And, an apple doesn't fall from the tree, but look at you. You have helped him. He's going to an outstanding college up in Pennsylvania. He gets to play the sport that he loves, baseball. And I mean, he keeps loving it. But see, the problem, a lot of the parents, and you're not the type of parent like that. You always take care of your son. You always mentor your son. But you see a lot of kids nowadays from the younger ages. When I go see my grandkids and when they play, they play in T-ball. And, when they're down in Florida and when they play T-ball, they under so much pressure also. And you have the parents are screaming at the kids and they love it. They put their little hats on. They got their little uniforms on. They play with the tee and stuff and they hit the ball. They run to first base. And when they make an error, you see after the ball game, the father or the grandfather will come up to the son and the grandson and say, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?
Right.
And, that's putting a lot of pressure on the kids. And, my parents really, I don't know. I don't think they ever did that. I don't remember that they did that, but I see that now.
Yeah.
And I see the kids under so much pressure and the older kids. And when they reach a level 12, 13, 14 years old, Mal, that what they do is they take lessons after lessons after lessons, and the parents spend money after money. And the parents live their life through their son or their daughter, because it's just not just boys are playing. There's girls are playing softball, tennis, lacrosse. It's just so much pressure. When you have a client like that, Miles, and when a girl comes on and when they are having, the problem stems from athletics and it goes into classrooms, what do you actually do? How do you, what do you say to the kids? How do you make them, make them relieve not to be under so much pressure?
Well, first, I'm not perfect, and I appreciate you saying what you said about me, but I used to put a lot of pressure on my son. I did. And I learned when I stopped coaching him at about age 12, and I got to look at it from a different perspective as a parent. I got to see the effects of what I was doing. Now, that's about 6 years ago, and I've made, a 180 turn on him, and I give him all kinds of support now, and I give a lot of constructive criticism. We do a lot of videoing. So we don't say, hey, why'd you do this? I say, look at what happened here. What could you have done better, kind of a thing. So, personally, I've become a better parent, a better coach, a better father, better sports psychologist, just because of my own experience of probably putting too much pressure on my son early on. It reminds me, I saw a comic strip not long ago where it's little T-ballers, and one T-baller is talking to the other, says, doesn't my dad know it's just T-ball? So what would I say? I would say to the young athlete, if their parents are going crazy, giving them too much pressure, I would teach the athlete first to focus on what they can control. They can't control their parents. Their parents are going to say what their parents are going to want to say. And that's just it. I'm not saying be rude or disrespectful. I'm saying, listen to your parents. But in the end, you've got to focus on what you can control. You've got to trust the process, trust the training. You've got to personally learn from both what went right and what did not go right. Obviously, you want to keep doing whatever worked. You want to keep doing that and make it better. But what's not working is, let's say you're striking out, or you're going into the slump, or you're throwing the ball and you're making errors. You've got to look at the technique maybe and say, okay, what do I need to improve upon this? The other aspect is what's going on in your head while this stuff is happening. Are you anxious, nervous? Are you putting pressure on yourself? It all comes down to you focus on yourself. You focus on the process. You focus on what you can control. And, you take what your parents are saying with a grain of salt. I mean, they're doing it because they love you. They have high expectations of you. But you know what? Maybe they're not realistic expectations. We all think that our kids are going to be the next Derek Jeter. And I mean, when I started coaching, 8-year-old kids, I had 12 kids who wanted to be shortstops, and it's just not the case. They're not all going to be the shortstops. You need pitchers, you need catchers, you need first basemen, second basemen, and that works its way out over time. The most important thing, I think, honestly, especially when it comes to youth athletes, is to have fun. It's a game. It's just a game. There's no real life consequences on this. If you hit a home run or you strike out, you know what? You got to go home. You got to learn from it all, and you got to move on. It's a game, and it's fun. And even though the baseball today has changed in terms of professionally, it's still a game, and it's still a great sport, or softball or whatever. And it's supposed to be fun. It's part of your youth, part of your childhood. Life gets too serious, after college. It gets so difficult that this is a golden opportunity to just enjoy yourself, for the good or for the worse. Have a good time. And you know what? There are instances where I have met with parents, and I'm working with a team right now of youth athletes, 11-year-old team. And it's a really great team, but there's a lot of pressure to succeed. Not from the coaches, from the parents, because they won a few championships. The parents expect it all the time now, but that's not realistic. I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there. And as we know, especially with baseball, I mean, failure it's paramount. It happens more than anything. You get 3 hits and 10 at bats, and you're a star. Yeah, it's those 7 at bats you're making out where a lot of the parents are, why'd you swing at this pitch? Why'd you swing at that pitch? Sometimes we have to, honestly, there are times I have to deal with the parents and talk to them about the pressure, the expectations, and to kind of like, let them play, let them just play.
I have when I go to batting cages and when I look at kids and the parents are, they got their trainer right next to them. It's just like professional baseball. I mean, right. When we played baseball. Okay. Nowadays, these guys got their own batting instructor. They got their own pitchers that throwing BP to them. I mean, it's just so much. And it's, it's computerized. I mean, they look at all this stuff and, I see all these, not a lot, some of these trainers you'll say, I'm going to videotape you. Right. It's I understand with all this analytical stuff, but I don't think mentally myself, I could have done that. Okay. My mind did not, it's just focus on, seeing the ball swing and to hit it. And nowadays it's, you got to launch, you got to do this, you got to step this, you got to do this, and mentally prepared. And, for a game, and I hear parents in the background with their kids, remember what their coach said to you. Remember what your trainer said. You got to do this. You got to watch your hands. You got to do this. How can a mind, I had a hard enough time putting 1 and 1 together, and to listen to all this, all these people behind me, it's very difficult. And, you could see nowadays, Miles, in professional baseball, with all the analytics, as soon as they take BP, they go down and look at computers. And they go in slumps, and then they go into another slump. And, hey, it's not easy, big guy.
No, you're talking about the slumps. People tend to overanalyze what's going on. I understand the analytics today, and I miss baseball the way it used to be, where there was strategy and the manager would come out and he use his gut feelings about changing a pitcher or leaving a pitcher in or pinch hitting this guy or something like that. So, that's a whole nother conversation we can talk about, and I'm sure we can. But when it comes to, you raise a good point. So let's say it's during the game and you have the parent yelling out reminders. Okay. Honestly, once the game starts, and in fact, I'm being a former coach, I am offended when a parent tries to step in during practices or a game. To me, don't do that. It's my time. You're in the stands. You do what you got to do. Okay. You be the parent. Now, during the game, and there's many times I've seen it, I've been doing this for years, where a parent will yell out, like you just said, advice. Remember what Coach So-and-so said about your stance, or, don't tip your pitches, or this or that. During the game, during the practice, during the game, I tell the kids, ignore your parents, and in all honesty, if they're hearing and focusing on what their parents are doing, they're not in the moment and they will not perform well. And it's just going to become a downward spiral. So when you're playing, you got to be in the moment. You got to tune all the extraneous variables out. It doesn't make a difference to you. It's only going to hurt how you perform right now. You need to be able to perform, especially in baseball, because the failure rate is so high. You need to be able to perform with free and clear up here. If you have distracting, what I call brain chatter, just the constant conversations in your head about what I should do, what I can't do, am I good enough? All that stuff is going to signal the end of whatever sport you're doing. You need to be free and clear up here, and you need to learn to ignore, like a duck. When it rains, the duck's in water, but it doesn't get wet because the raindrops roll off their feathers. That's one of the things I teach youth athletes is let all the other stuff roll off your feathers. Your parents are yelling and screaming, do this, let it roll off. Focus on the task at hand. Stay in the moment. Focus on your goals. And again, like I said before, go out, try your hardest, and have fun.
Give me a bat. I want to hit. Miles. I want you to meet somebody. Okay. I want you to meet John. Okay. John.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Let me tell you about this guy, Miles. I met this guy how many years ago, John? About 15 years, about 20 years ago?
Yeah, probably in between 15 and 20.
I met this guy up in Cooperstown. He's from upstate New York. He was working in Cooperstown at a place called Seventh Inning, okay? And we talking, and I'm a young, not a young kid. I'm old, but hey, I'm sitting there with all the Hall of Famers. And I think John was sitting with Ozzie Smith, I believe, and Ozzie Smith had a contract to sign with Seventh Inning for quite a few years. And we talked and we became very, very good friends. And let me tell you something. This guy with memorabilia knows so much. And you know what? He's a major Met fan. He's a major Doc Gooden fan, because him and Doc, y'all like brothers. Y'all done so many stuff together, haven't you, John?
No,
look at this.
I know Doc. We talk back and forth. He's just a great guy, and I'm really a Yankee fan, but I know Miles.
All right,
I you're
like
the Mets
that.
fan.
Listen to that, Miles.
But yeah, Doc's a great guy, and Seventh Inning. I had a great teacher. Vin, Ron. So I learned from one of the best in Cooperstown. So he's the one that developed all those relationships where put me in the situation. There you go. Put me in the situation, to get a chance to meet and talk with all these guys, do business with them. So it was awesome.
And John, let me tell you something. You have had every Hall of Fame guy to come into your place, and you have been with every Hall of Famer. And, and John and I, we kept up close, after our career, because John just moved down to the Orlando area, and
yes.
He wanted to get out of the major snowstorms up in the upstate New York area, and we've been talking. And once I got into social media, I asked John, will he be involved with me? Because he's a guy that knows all about this. I don't know about memorabilia stuff. And John is going to be talking for a few minutes about what he's going to be doing for me, because let me tell you something. I am not organized. I'm telling you right off the bat. Sure. I'm getting a new computer in the next few days, because number one, my lights on my computer and my phone goes off every 2 seconds. And I'm just learning how to do this. So I'm going to have John to help us. And he knows all about you, Miles, and everything like that. So when we are on the Zooms and stuff like that, we could talk together. We could do things. I could have you on. I could have John on and stuff like that. But John, will you just tell the audience, just tell the people what you're going to be doing for me? Would you do?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Ron, you did a great job when you got into the social media side of it. You didn't just get into it. You ran like a bull into it. honestly, you've probably haven't really seen anything like it, just because you're following, and the way you connect with your fans is just awesome. So what I want to do on my end is what I think you want to do also is I want to be able to bring your memorabilia to your fans. That the hardest thing for a fan to do is connect with someone that's their idol, that they like, that they love. And it's hard for that fan to connect with that person, and that person being you in this circumstance. And I think it's awesome that you're right there in front of them, and the average guy, the average kid can turn on your Zoom and turn on your Facebook, and here you are, you're right in front of them. So I think it's important that we get this stuff to them, and have the ability for them to send us stuff to have you sign it. Well, soon we're going to be coming up. We're going to have some stuff for sale for people to buy, and we're not talking major items. We want to give everyone a chance to get involved with owning a piece of memorabilia. For example, I just got in about 300 baseball cards, and these are all yours. These are all of you. So, I mean, this is how I want us to bring this to right into the homes, right into the people's collection, something they can put away for their kids. But, baseballs, photos, people can send us this stuff. This is what we're working on getting together now. The ability for people to send us this stuff, to have you sign it, to put an inscription that's going to just last a lifetime for them, so they can pass down to their kids. And it's important. It's important, especially in today's day. It's important to bring this to people, and that's why I love the memorabilia side of it. And people don't realize the memorabilia side. I think Forbes once said that it was like a $370 billion global market, sports memorabilia. So I mean, it's huge. It's huge, and I just think it's awesome that we're going to be in this situation where we're going to allow people to enter it on this side, just easy. You're right here. I mean, it's amazing. They turn on the computer right here. They can get it. They can get a hold of us. I'm tagged in the Facebook stuff, so they can get a hold of me, send me the message. I'll arrange it. I'll make it super simple. And in the coming weeks, we're going to have stuff that they can actually just go online, buy, and ship it to them, ship it to their friend, their son, their cousin, right to their house. Not even have to worry about it. Just tell us what they want, tell us what they want to say, and it's there. It's at the door.
See, the good part about it, I screwed up the game of baseball in 1973. And 48 years later, and Miles, I know you probably don't like it, but the DH is there, and it's there to stay, and it got to be
right.
Universal. And, but unfortunately, not yet. But eventually we will. After 48 years, it has to come back. But anyway, what I have done throughout my years, I became very, very good. Well, all these guys are very, very good friends at the stadium, all the clubhouse guys. I get a lot of stuff from Yankee Stadium, a lot of stuff. They send me stuff. I had to purchase some stuff and everything like that. And I have been keeping it. And I said, you know what? All my kids have all this stuff. What I would like to do, and through John, is, I got shirts, I got T-shirts, I got slip over jackets, I got really nice stuff. And, and they send me this stuff, and I say, okay, all my kids have it. Now what do I do with it? So John and I was talking about, maybe I might have some fans out there or people that love baseball, and they can have, get a jacket or whatever. We could ship it to them, and they could bring it to a stadium and get it signed. And, and I could sign it first or whatever, or maybe they might want to wear it. But it's something that we're talking about doing. And also my books. And I want to tell the people right now, okay, I'm not the most organized in the world. I told people to send me books, okay? But I'm going to have to organize it with John, because I'm going to have a lot of books that I'm going to be having, and I got to organize this. This is me, very disorganized. Look at all those books there, and I got them shipped to people, and I don't know where to ship them to. So I got to get organized with this. But John's going to help me out. And I'm going to probably have to go to Miles, and Miles is going to have to help me out, because I'm going to have to, my mind's going to be fried. But also, okay, John, and John goes by, you go by on the Facebook, John Francis. Am I right?
Correct. Yep. John Francis. And I'm tagged in the post. They'll see my tag. They can reach out to me they can get a hold of me in any way. And I really hope when you upgrade your computer, you upgrade to the iPhone world.
No. John, tell them about, because tag, being tagged. I have no idea what you're talking about. It sounds like I'm being tagged, like when you're a young kid, I tagged you. I have no idea. I guess these people know what if being tagged, correct?
Yes. You'll see my name. You'll see Miles' name. If you need to get a hold of Miles, you'll see it in a different color, and you can just click on that, and everybody knows, but I'm kind of just explaining it to you, Ron. But you'll see my name in a different color. You can click on it and you can get a hold of us.
Thanks, big guy. You know what? And hey, we're going to have, I know that Lenny's going to have to go back to work. I'm going to have to do some stuff that I don't know what I'm doing, but I just want to, I was going to tell my fans one thing. And I'm going to tell John, and I told Miles, and this is very, very important to me. And I wanted to tell fans, thank you very much. I've been getting a lot of congratulations, but I just got not promoted, but I got just elected to the New York State Hall of Fame. That's going to be in November of next year. And it's not because of me, it's because of my fans. And I wanted to bring these out. And my wife, I asked my wife, should I say this to my fans? And she said, yes. I said, I feel like I'm bragging, and I don't want to brag, but it means an awful lot to me. The fans mean so much to me. Miles, you mean so much to me. John, you mean so much. I love y'all big guys. And, if you want to, Miles going to be on. Miles is his emails up there. John's emails up there, I guess. And you know where to reach John. John will talk to you. John will talk to you. And we got some unbelievable stuff. I mean, great stuff. And hey, this is going to be fun. Be part of it and keep me alive. And I got a few more years with y'all. But Miles, I need to come to you. John, I'm going to need to come to you. I love y'all big guys. And I'll talk to y'all later. And Lenny, again, thank you very much for doing this. And Joe Garrido, thank you very much. Thank you.